been hosting a 3-day women's conference that wrapped up today under the theme, My Life, My Choices, My Power. The Minister of Public Enterprises delivering the keynote address today. Well, the conference organisers said it would see some of the most powerful women in South Africa sharing their inspirational life stories. One of them joins us now. Nthabeleng Likotsi is the chair of the Young Women in Business Network and the MD of the Young Women in Business Network Cooperative Bank, which is such an interesting venture. Let's start, Nthabeleng, by welcoming you. And first tell me about the Young Women in Business Network. It's often said that women need to help each other. How does the network work?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I started the Young Women in Business Network in 2009 because I was myself getting into business, and I was saying I can't be the only woman who's going through challenges, so there must be other women that are going through the same thing, and in order for us to access and unlock opportunities, we must work together. So since then, it's 7 years later, and we have now invested in a company called Namlock, which is a logistics and distribution and warehousing, using the Stokvel model. So now, 5 years later, we now started a cooperative bank using the Stokvel methodology.
It's incredible. So it's women coming together. So the investors are all women who are part of this network. Is that correct?
It's mostly women. We don't exclude men.
Okay.
60%, yes, 60% women, and the 40% is black. It's black men, or any other race for that matter. Yes.
I want to talk about the bank, but firstly, do you find this sort of thing helps? Are women mentoring other women? Do you get together and talk about work? How exactly does it function?
Ours is very different because we're saying we're not going to talk about challenges. We've been talking about challenges over the past years. Ours is saying it's done. We know it. Now it's saying where are the opportunities and how we can unlock these opportunities. And then we're saying women can't work together. In my experience, that's not the case. We have been affirmed by women that said, in Nthabeleng, we believe in your vision and we're going to support it. I mean, we save 1,000 rand every month for a period of 5 years. We pay 10,000 rand share capital, and mostly are women. So we can't be saying that women are not working together. And out of that, then we're like, okay, with the entrepreneurs right now that are in business and are struggling to access financing, we then loan them out money.
All right, so let's talk about the bank. So you started with 10,000 rand. So everybody involved put in 10,000 rand. How much did you start off with? How many people involved? How do you even begin thinking about opening a whole bank, given all the regulatory hurdles and things like that?
Being an entrepreneur means that fear does not exist in my life. So it's when we started, the registration requirement is a minimum 200 people and 100,000 rand share capital. So we started with the minimum 200 people and 2 million rand. And to date, we have over 320 shareholders that have put together 10,000 rand and we save 1,000 rand every month for a period of 5 years. So it is quite scary, but because we've been doing it for a while and because we have the experience of saying to people, there are opportunities, let us save money, we find it to be not easy, but doable. But
there's more than 4 million rand in this bank. So now do you give out loans? Is this becoming something bigger, or is it still on that Stokvel model that you put in money and you save every month?
We're highly regulated under the Cooperative Banks Act, so it is under the Banking Act. And with the 4 million, we loan out 330,000 rand to our members. So we do loan out. So we need to loan out 80% of the money because that's how the banking sector works. And the other 20%, we have to find creative ways of investing the money. So we have an investment committee that then presents to all the shareholders to say, let us invest money in this way. The beauty of a cooperative bank is that it's a democratic bank, meaning that we're all equal. If you join us today, you and I will be the same. Yeah.
Could I go to this bank, say I was a woman with an idea? Is this about helping women to take those risks that they need to do in business?
Yes. So we can't assist you if you're not a shareholder. You need to be a shareholder, meaning that you need to pay 10,000 rand to be a bank owner. And after that, that's when, if you're in business, because that's our focus, we're saying there's no entrepreneurial bank in South Africa, so that is going to be our focus. So if you have a purchase order or a tender, you can then come and then we'll loan you out money. We're also talking to professionals because we need to capitalize the bank. We want in 5 years to have 100,000 rand shareholders. That will mean 1 billion rand of share capital and 1.2 billion rand of savings a year. So that's quite big.
This is exciting, and I love the way it started. Similar to African Bank, a group of black business people got together and all put in a little bit. I hope it ends better than African Bank. But before we end off, what was your message to the women at Eskom? That's what this was about, Women's Month. You were sharing your story, and I love what you say, that women need to take risks.
My message is pretty simple, is that the 22 years into democracy, it has given us the choice. Women have a choice to do whatever I want to do. So right now, I'm not dictated to do what I don't want to do. So I was saying my topic is entrepreneurial, reigniting entrepreneurial spirit. Because we're saying, but everybody should be thinking entrepreneurial. We can't all be entrepreneurs, but we can all think entrepreneurial.
And do you think work life has changed? Do you have to be an entrepreneur, or can you be a woman in a corporate now? We always talk about, the fact that women need flexibility, that you need a career path that accepts you may have to take time off from work at certain periods in your life. Do you think that understanding is there? Have we moved beyond the old issues?
Well, some of us have, but I must admit that it's still a long way to go, where you still find women that are saying, I want to take this senior position, but I can't because I have kids, my husband is doing this and that. So we are getting there. And for me, the fact that I'm able to sit here today, it means that there is something, there is progress. I mean, 60 years, just now we're celebrating 60 years of women marching to the Union building. We must celebrate it and say, we must look forward to the future, and the future is definitely bright.
Well, I love your attitude, and I think you are a symbol of progress, and thank you for joining us. Nthabeleng Likotsi, the MD of the Young Women in Business Network and that cooperative bank, very interesting that it now runs.